travelers, I'm River, and I'm your host for your upcoming trip to Japan. I'm also the creator of Zokawa, the Center of Happiness. And at Zokawa, our mission is to lead people to experience the divine joy within. And I believe that we all have all that we already need. It's just deep inside. And as we live our lives, we get it covered up by our stresses and our concerns and our worries and our expectations and all those kinds of things. And so at the core, my intention is to create opportunities to open your eyes to what's already there within you. And I believe that the trip to Japan is one really great way to do that. I also believe in the importance of providing relevant information to set you up for success. And so I decided to create a series of videos about the Japanese language, not so that you can become fluent in the next several weeks, rather so that you have a strong foundation in understanding the sounds that you'll be hearing, how to pronounce the names of places where we're going and the names of even of restaurants and food and your hotels. And so I'm creating for you a series of videos that will give you some basic general background information about the language, that will introduce you to the consonant sounds and the vowel sounds, the syllables and the rhythms, the writing system, and then finally, I'll present some words, some basic words that you'll hear often, words you may want to use regularly. And like I said, how to pronounce the names of our hotels and the names of the cities where we're visiting and other destinations. So this first video is simply an introduction. The first point is that Japanese is not related to any other language. It is not related to Korean. A lot of people think that it sounds like Korean, and yeah, there are some similar sounds, but it's not rooted they don't share the same roots. One of the reasons why people often think that Japanese is related to the Korean language is basically just because the original people to live in Japan came there from the Korean peninsula. And then the second popular misconception is that Japanese and Chinese are very similar, and they're not. The only reason why there's that correlation is because the Japanese writing system comes from the Chinese writing system. So when the first Chinese, they were like Buddhist missionaries, when they first came to Japan, of course, they brought their language and their writing system. Up until that time, Japanese didn't have any way to visually create their words or their sounds. And the Chinese language had a very complex writing system. So at the beginning, it was Buddhist monks who took the Chinese language and took the sounds of that to represent the sounds in the Japanese language. And they also took some of the meaning and applied that to the Japanese language. So the picture, the word picture for woman, for example, is still the same in Japanese, but the pronunciation is completely different. But I'll talk more about the writing system in a separate video. So unlike English that evolved from various Germanic dialects and have a similar common thread amongst them, Japanese doesn't have that. It's its own standalone language. All the videos in this series are created for native speakers of English, more specifically for native speakers of American English. Finally, as native speakers of American English, we are very fortunate because all the sounds in the Japanese language we also have in English. It doesn't necessarily go the other way though, so all the sounds we have in English are not produced by native speakers of Japanese. So that's to our advantage, right? Are you ready? Let's go.